McCluskey, Director of Communications and Community Engagement for Summit School District. And I'm joined today by Elisabeth Lawrence from the Summit Foundation and senior at Summit High School, Emily Carlson. And we're going to talk about philanthropy and our students through a special program called the Youth Giving Council. Elisabeth, let's talk about the Summit Foundation first of all. Absolutely the most philanthropic favorite organization of many of us here in the community. Tell us about it.
So the Summit Foundation is our overall community foundation here in Summit County. Similar to United Way and other communities in that we really work to then give grants to other nonprofits. And in Summit County, we have over 100 nonprofits, which is amazing. The Summit Foundation supports nearly 100 every year. This past year was 92 nonprofits. And so what we work to do is raise money to then grant it back out, as well as some special initiative projects that we focus on every few years. We're celebrating 31 years in Summit County.
That's incredible.
Right, we were originally founded by Breckenridge Ski Resort, and all of our local ski areas continue to really be the backbone of the Summit Foundation and what makes all of this possible.
Elisabeth, in my years in Summit County, the Summit Foundation has certainly been behind some of the really important and beneficial efforts in this community for our kids. Tell us about some of those.
Sure. So at the Summit Foundation, our vision is to create ever better mountain communities, and we strive towards that every day. And so in the past, we've really focused on health and human services, education, environment, art and culture, is some of our things that we really want to donate. But those youth programs have been some of the most significant things that the Summit Foundation has been a part of. Recently, just in the past couple years, we've taken on the special initiative of the Catch After School program, which is a partnership with Summit School District, Keystone Science School, FERC, many different entities, and we kind of spearheaded that to get it going. And then before that, our big special initiative was the pre-collegiate program, which we have seen has been so successful in Summit School District, and we've been getting our first graduates from that program of college. And that is things that the Summit Foundation always wants to support, is youth development.
Well, in the state of Colorado, when we are challenged to fund just the classroom education that we are charged to provide, it is such a gift to have a partner like the Summit Foundation there to help us do this. So several years ago now, the idea of the Youth Giving Council was born. So tell us what the Youth Giving Council is and why the Summit Foundation supports it.
So we have a board member, Jenny Bradley, who is a trustee of the Summit Foundation. And her, along with some other trustees, were talking about how do people become philanthropists. And they realized it maybe needs to start in youth in an earlier age. And they had gotten this idea to kind of create a youth board of some sort of advisory that we'd bring in youth to help us with some of our big grant applications that impact youth in the county. So we did that for a couple years, and then it kind of grew from that, and they said, you know what, we really need to create a group and give them money and let them then grant it out themselves. And so we worked with Summit School District and had the idea that we'd be a part of the leadership class at Summit High School and find some of these students that we thought would be great at understanding philanthropy, at being a part of philanthropy, and really get the notion of what it means to give back. And we started that, and then we realized we needed someone to help lead that. I guess that's where I came in. And for some reason, they thought teenagers would like me. So, so I started doing that, and this program has been amazing. So what happened is we had some seed money, and we told the students, we're going to give this out, and you're going to help decide how to do it. And so they originally wrote our original grant application and sent it out, and then local nonprofits and student groups and teachers and various other people could apply for these mini grants. We saw really a big response the first time. It was so successful. We thought, gosh, we need to do this again. And that's where our local ski area stepped in, and they offered up the sale of one patron pass medallion valued at nearly $6,000 that we could sell.
Wow.
That would then support this program. And so that's kind of been a huge part of how we've been able to continue to do this. We're now in our third year, so we do a grant cycle in the fall and the spring. And the students really work on soliciting, getting people to write these grants, but then their hard work is actually doling out the funds and choosing who gets what.
And trying to decide, yeah.
Yep.
Not easy for any funder in this community when there are so many good programs.
Correct, but I almost think these students have a more difficult job than even we do at the Summit Foundation, because their funds are very, very limited, and they have to be very careful about exactly what they want to give out. So they are strict. They've taught me so much, which is great, but they are really conscientious about how they're spending their money.
I love that. Well, let's talk a little bit now with Emily about our high school leadership program. Let's talk first about what leadership is here, who are the students involved, and what do they do?
Okay, so leadership here is basically like student council for other schools. We put on dances, events, and work with the community and administration to be the link between the administration and the students, and the community and the students.
I like that. How many students are involved in leadership?
I think around 30 right now are in the leadership group. It's pretty big.
And every grade is represented,
Yep,
I would
every
guess.
grade is represented. Yeah.
That's terrific. I know that as a part of the leadership program here at the high school, Emily, certainly the dances are a fun part of that job, and there are other efforts that you take on to try and do positive, pro-social types of activities or events for the students. How does the Youth Giving Council fit into that mission for you and the other students?
I think that's definitely important. We get a chance to work with the community more and become more of a part of it, which I think is one of the goals of leadership, is to become part of the community and definitely make an impact. That's one of the goals that we strive for, and the Youth Giving Council has been great in allowing us to do that, because it allows us to give back to the community and learn about philanthropy at the same time.
Good. How many students from leadership sit on the council?
I think around like 10 or 15.
Okay, and tell me about the process. How do you decide which programs or requests to fund?
Well, it depends on the cycle, but if we give out the grant application to nonprofits, and then a couple weeks later we look them over, and Elisabeth is very helpful with that. We look at the grants, we look at their budgets, what they're wanting to do, and what the benefits are, and like such as how many people or like students and youth the grant will be affecting, and then we kind of decide like how much they're asking and how much we think that they deserve.
Do you have a priority on the types of programs that you try to fund, Emily?
I think we do a good job of keeping it diverse. We certainly get all different types of grants, but what we try to do is not fund all the same ones. We try to keep it diverse and make sure that everybody's getting some.
That's good. Tell me about one of your favorites, one of the programs that the Youth Giving Council has been able to fund in the past couple of years, where you were a part of that decision, and why you're so happy you were able to fund that effort.
Well, I think one of the fun ones that we always talk about is the Buddy Bench. It was at Upper Blue Elementary, and they wanted to have a buddy bench so that they could, if you didn't have a friend, you can go sit on the bench, and you would have and then somebody else would come and they would have a friend, and so we helped fund for the bench.
I love this. So there's a bench out on the playground, or is it in the building?
Yep, it's in the playground.
The playground. And so if I'm lonely, nobody's playing with me, I could go sit on the bench, and that's kind of a signal that I'm looking for a friend.
Yeah,
that's great.
I thought it was fun.
Have you seen it in action?
I have not, but
We'll have to do a drive-by, right, and field trip, go see if the buddy bench is being used.
Yeah.
That's great. What would be your message to other students, Emily, who are thinking about getting into leadership or thinking about participating in this process? Why would you tell them it's important to do it?
I think it's important definitely to get involved with the community, and also just to learn about the value of giving and the value of money. It's not easy to have this kind of money to give out to people, and so I think it's certainly educating to understand the value of money and how much it really can make an impact.
That's terrific. Well, thank you for your thoughts, and Elisabeth, thank you for yours.
Thank you.
In just a moment, we'll be talking with a few other students who've been a part of Youth Giving Council and their experiences and their thoughts about giving here in Summit County. Hi, I'm Julie McCluskey with Summit School District, and I'm back with a couple of our Summit High School students who are going to talk more about our Youth Giving Council. I'm joined by Claire MacMurray and Valentina Blass. And Claire, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your experience on Youth Giving Council and why you think it's so important for youth to be involved in giving.
Well, it's definitely been an enjoyable experience. Just thinking back about it, I personally have this favorite program that we funded. It was called, it was through the Summit High Tech Club, and they were competing in this competition. I think it's a statewide competition. Yep. And they had to create this machine called the Solar Roller, and they asked for our money, or they asked for a grant, or they applied for the grant, and just giving you a little information on our process. I'd say there were a majority of the kids who were not as enthused as I was, and I thought it was fascinating that these kids were creating this machine that would be powered by solar energy and would go to a competition for this. And so I sort of brought the idea that, hey, I think we should fund this. And that started the discussion that eventually opened other people's minds into seeing the positives of funding a program like this. And so that's just one example of many times when we're not all on the same page, and how it takes a bit of discussion to get to that same page, and discussion is always good, so we're not just throwing money without really breaking it down.
Thinking about why. I know the solar rollers, like little cars, right, yep, that race around, and I think the year you funded it, we won.
Yes.
We did that well.
We did well.
That's awesome. So, see, it was your dollars that fueled those cars.
Yeah.
And one of our most important STEM initiatives, in the district, trying to find more opportunities for students to plug in, yeah, doing something in science, technology, engineering, or math. So terrific that in addition to funding a student project, it happened to be in the area of STEM, which is so important.
Yeah, it was awesome. I wasn't super familiar about Summit High's Tech Club, and I was really happy to know that we had a place for those kids who are really into that kind of stuff to blossom.
Yes, well said. Yeah. Val, let's talk about your experience on the Youth Giving Council and one of your favorite projects.
The Youth Giving Council was definitely a great experience. I learned so much and value my money so much more now that I know how to deal with it, and I don't know, it definitely was a great experience, and I'm going to try to do something along the lines of it, philanthropy, when I go to college, maybe a club. But my favorite, or one of my favorite programs, was the After Prom program. We're all familiar with it, but the After Prom gives high school seniors and juniors a good, safe, fun environment to go to after the prom, at the Silverthorne Rec Center, games and concerts, swimming. It's really a good time, and the After Prom program has asked for money for several years now, but each time they ask for less and less money, which is really great for us because we know that our money is going towards something, and it shows how beneficial when they keep coming back, but not for as much. It's really a great program. I enjoy.
So really your dollars helped launch that program, yes, and it's becoming more sustainable now. Yes. They're finding other donors, and I know this year it was kind of exciting. The band from the high school, the Unsung, played. So
it was pretty fun.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. I'll ask either one of you this question. When we talk about the Youth Giving Council, I think it's important for everyone to know that our focus is on youth, right? That you're funding youth programs here in the county. Yep. What's the dollar amount, that you're giving to each of these? And you just said, Val, it's made you think more about your own money. Why is that?
I've definitely, before, I used to spend my money on anything. I have money, sure, I'll buy this. But now I found that money's a lot more valuable, especially when not everybody has it, and it can go towards so much more than just whatever I want. It's more of a need-based thing now. So just being able to learn from the Youth Giving Council to my own needs is really satisfying.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Claire, anything you'd add?
I would agree with Valentina. Yeah, you just, as I think Elisabeth mentioned this earlier, but starting to recognize at our age is important, and a lot of schools don't have that opportunity, and it's really neat that the Summit Foundation had the insight to do that.
Yeah,
and just becoming aware not only about the importance of money, but the importance of philanthropy.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Now I'm going to ask this question. You can tell me if it's true. So what happens when you can't come to agreement? Does it get down to flipping a coin, or how do you decide when you're counting every dollar?
The conversations get really heated between us, and they get a little scary, but we always are able to figure out the pros and cons when we're fighting about it, and definitely narrow it down to maybe we won't give them as much money, but we never have had to flip a coin. We dig deeper, call the organizations, get more information, so we can just figure out all the details so we know exactly how much to put into it.
Yeah, that's something we do often, is we want to make sure we get the whole story, and so we seek the people asking for the money, make sure we have things straight, and then hopefully that'll clarify it for us in case there's some riff.
Good. Elisabeth, as I'm listening to these two, I am thinking of something Claire said about not every school has a youth giving council. This is a unique opportunity. What do you know if there are other school districts or even colleges that provide this kind of opportunity?
Well, it's funny. Last year I had someone send me a New York Times article about a class at Northwestern University in Chicago, and then also Harvard, and they started a new class, and that was on philanthropy.
Wow.
And it made me laugh because we've been doing that for 3 years now. And these college students were given $25,000 a semester and had to do the same thing, figure out how to best invest it and learn to be a philanthropist. And it did make me laugh that here we have an Ivy League school doing that, and we've already been doing that in Summit County.
It's nice to know we're ahead of Harvard.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Good.
So youth philanthropy councils, they're becoming more popular. I would say that we were definitely still on the forefront of that. And that's really because our Board of Trustees at the Summit Foundation and staff really place an emphasis on youth philanthropy and what it means to inspire donors and inspire funders at an early age. And that is what we try to do. And eventually, I would like to see this program even start younger, middle school, etc., which would be great. And these high school kids have taught me so much about what it means to really be a philanthropist, even in a different way, but we also work hard to teach them about diversity and about life situations that are maybe different than their own, and that really guides their decisions when they're trying to decide how much to fund. It really makes them think about others besides themselves and a world bigger than their own. And because we have funded some very diverse things, and not only just student groups and educators within the district, but also some local nonprofits, and we've worked with them. And we had a grant a few years ago that really, I think, showed the collaborative efforts that could happen through Youth Giving Council. And High Country Conservation Center applied for the grant, and it was $1,200 that they needed, and a local Boy Scout was trying to get his Eagle Scout badge. So he said, I'm going to build a community garden over in Dillon. The school district provided the land and the water. High Country Conservation Center helped provide the knowledge and kind of manage the whole thing. So here we have Boy Scouts, the school district, and High Country Conservation Center all working together for $1,200. It has ended up feeding over 18 families in Dillon Valley, which is amazing. And there's a waiting list to get a place on that garden plot. And so you can see that these mini grants have huge impact in this community.
Oh, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
And I just get excited hearing that. So if we wanted, if our community, our teachers, other students, parents wanted to donate specifically to the Youth Giving Council, how would we do that, Elisabeth?
Through the Summit Foundation, and just earmark it for the Youth Giving Council. And we have found that $1,200 grants has kind of been our limit, $1,200 to $1,500. But next year, we are thinking of doing some projects that maybe we could up it to $2,000 or $2,500.
Great.
Because there are some things that maybe one group might only need $600 to really make an impact, but another group might need $2,000 to really make an impact. So we would like to try to grow that program.
Well, that's wonderful. And if we visit your website, can we get more information on certainly the Summit Foundation?
Yeah, definitely on the
but
Summit
also
Foundation.
the
I have to say, I don't think there's a Youth Giving Council page, which we probably should start.
Let's do that.
Yes, we do need to start that.
Maybe we could apply for a grant through the Youth Giving Council for a website, a webpage.
Yeah,
for Youth Giving.
perfect.
I like that. Well, thank you, Elisabeth.
Thank you.
Again, we are so grateful to the Summit Foundation and all you do in the
Well, and
community
thanks
for our kids.
providing us these students that
Absolutely.
we can do this.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate your input today. For more information about Summit School District, Summit High School, or the Youth Giving Council, please contact us on our website at summit.k12.co.us or give us a call at our central office. Thank you.